worsens between Nigeria and China's Macau. Nigeria deploys 185 troops to Guinea-Bissau. US Supreme Court verdicts would ask United States United Kingdom to place visa ban on judicial officers. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on MCL News. I'm Easy Noah. For now, the news and details. The President, Muhammad Buhari, has assented to the instrument of ratification of the agreement on the transfer of sentenced persons between Nigeria and the government of the Macau Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, made this known in a statement. This is executive of August 1st, 2018, which approved and directed the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to prepare the instrument of ratification of the above agreement for the President's signature. Buhari's assent formally executes the agreements. Ratifications on the economy on new board satellite inaugurated at the headquarters in Abuja. The minister charged the chairman and other members of the board to work hard and ensure that they uphold public trust in all their dealings. He also charged the board members to be committed to their duties in line with the desire of the administration to turn the agency around for the digital economy. He also encouraged the directors to cultivate winning habits and be up to date in the business. The Nigerian Army on Friday completed pre-deployment training for 185 troops for peacekeeping mission in Guinea-Bissau. The 185 troops began their pre-deployment training on January 6th at the Martin Luther Aguilar International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center, Daji, Kaduna State. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Topo Buratai, said the troops will be Nigerian's Company 8 in the ECOWAS mission in Guinea-Bissau. Buratai was represented by Major General Kelvin Alibi, Commandant Nigerian Army School of Infantry. Buratai said the graduation further confirmed the commitment of Nigeria to deploy quality peacekeepers as part of its contributions to the quest for global peace and security. He explained that the pre-deployment training was aimed at refreshing and polishing their knowledge and expertise in peace support operation. Buratai cautioned the troops to avoid any ugly incidents that can tarnish the image of the army and Nigeria during their stay in Guinea-Bissau. Over the years, many lives have been claimed by the activities of insurgents, kidnappers, and bandits in many parts of the country. This has compelled many Nigerians to put the political leadership in the country under pressure to end the killings. MCL News went to town to feel the pulse of residents on the issue. The reports.
Insecurity is a major problem against the corporate existence of Nigeria. These affect development in many facets of human endeavor within the states and communities of the Federation. Insecurity ranges from Boko Haram activities to kidnapping and banditry. There is no Nigerian state that has not been affected by insecurity. The respondent who spoke to MCL News expressed displeasure over the recent killings and most pathetic, the killing of Khan president in Michika, Adamawa State, Lawan and Dimi.
One of the major causes of this insecurity is unemployment. Now you look at cybercrime, which is the major problem we are facing now. How can we come? Many of these people that are in this cybercrime is because of unemployment, so they cannot do anything. Kidnapping, you see, many of them are graduates. from higher institutions. So now what are they saying? What can we do to end the living? From there, they start thinking in the negative form.
The society presently, there is hunger in the land. So people try either by hook or by crook to find what to eat. Once there is hunger in the land and the bad guys notice that there are lapses in security arrangement, they strike and try to make a living. People don't care how people make money. Immediately you make money now, you are given a chieftaincy title, or you go to church, you are made one, you give one post on the other. So there is moral decadence in the society, both in church and in villages. People don't care again how you make your money.
To curtail the spate of killings in the country, the respondents said there must be intelligence gathering and sharing by security operatives. They equally called for reshuffling of the service chiefs. They called for implementation of policies, economic empowerment and provision of social amenities.
Employment is the underlying factor. They should sanitize the environment. Recruit more forces that will look into this insecurity. The forces we are having here are not doing much. Even the youth, the local youth should be employed. Even you make them to be secured.
Stopping it means taking them off from their belief. So until their leaders call them to order and say enough is enough. Not only that, their leaders will also preach to them to abandon their expansionist ideology.
They further called on states to set up its local security outfits to protect its citizens from both internal and external aggressions.
So the SA should be involved, the youth should be involved. Make the youth the police. Tell them, cover this place, pay them well. You will see this rate of insecurity will reduce.
Both states, regional, should organize themselves and defend themselves. If individuals can hire a guard. In our respective homes, we have security guards. There is no home in Aba or in Abia State that you don't have people guiding. Why wouldn't government ask you to remove those people? In the north, they have their own local vigilante groups. In Abia State, we have a Ministry for Internal and Internal Security. So why would somebody ask you not to provide security for yourself?
The respondents further urged citizens to partner with security agencies by providing useful information to them. Stella Okechukwu, MCL News.
Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Han Uko, has reacted to a report making the rounds where he has been accused of ordering the arrest of some pensioners in his office. There was a report on Thursday that police in Abia State arrested 2 pensioners in Omaha for allegedly organizing a protest against alleged state government's failure to pay their pension arrears. Names of the pensioners were given as Daniel Amugo and Chukwemeka Augustus, the chairman and secretary of a group called Abia State Consigned Pensioners. The vice chairman of the group, John Carlo, had told reporters that police arrested the 2 people after their meeting with the Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Aham Uko, in his office. The Commissioner, in a statement on Friday, however, denied holding any meeting with pensioners in his office. Meanwhile, the police public relations officer in the state, SP Geoffrey Obona, said the pensioners were arrested for impersonating the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners in Abia. Obona said that the command received a petition accusing them of impersonating. He said that the matter is being investigated, adding that the national leadership of NUP had disowned the protesters. A civil society group coalition in defense of Nigerian democracy and constitution, CDMDC, has suggested to United States and United Kingdoms to extend its visa restriction to judicial officers, particularly those who use their offices to allegedly undermine democracy. The group specifically mentioned justices of the Supreme Court who were involved in the Imo State governorship case and their family members, asking that they should be placed on visa restriction as deterrents to others. The embassy in Abuja believe that such action is an indication that U.S., UK, and other countries will not support the judiciary or any government that promotes impunity. The letter, jointly signed by the group leaders Ariyo Bari Atoye, Deji Adewaju and Adebayo Raphael has asked stewards and UK to push for a reversal of the Imo judgment and that the judiciary is interfering in the democratic process with unsound and unpopular judgments. The World Health Organization (WHO) has cautioned all the countries of the world to be on high alert to be able to contend with the new deadly novel coronavirus first found in Wuhan city of China. A health advisory issued by the World Health Organization at the end of the emergency meeting of the International Health Regulations Committee said countries should be prepared for the containment of the virus disease. These include ensuring active surveillance, early detection, isolation, and case management. The World Body said the virus has spread to Japan, Korea, Thailand, and Singapore. It said that countries are required to share information with World Health Organization according to the International Health Regulations. The World Health Body said it is ready to assist countries with technical advice to help contain the epidemic. While giving updates on the coronavirus outbreak reported early this month in the Chinese city of Wuhan, World Health Organization said the Chinese authorities presented a new epidemiological information to committee that reviewed an increase in the number of cases of suspected cases of affected provinces and the proportion of deaths in currently reported cases of 4%, 17 of 557. It said that the information presented by the Chinese delegation showed the prevalence of first-generation cases in Wuhan and second-generation cases outside Wuhan, as well as some clusters outside Hubei province. The World Body noted that 25% of the confirmed cases are reported to be severe. It said that at the moment the source of the coronavirus is still unknown, but that it is most likely an animal reservoir. Still to come on the news, Nigerians join rest of the world to observe Education Day. Awareness key to accessing affordable health care in Abia. 7 cases of coronavirus confirmed in the US. Details after the break. Just status.
Our esteemed viewer, thanks for your patronage of our programs and services, for which we say thank you. We remind you that at all times, you have the right to quality broadcasting. It belongs to you as well as the right to lodge complaints on broadcast materials or conduct of any broadcast station. MCLtv is open and receptive to your commendations, complaints and criticisms, as such comments strengthen and make us serve you better. Feel free at all times to address your reactions to National Broadcasting Commission, Enugu Zonal Office, Current Drive, Independent Layout, Enugu. You can email us at mbcenuguzone@yahoo.com or Modern Communications Limited, number 9B Obibo Avenue, Aba. MCLtv, the world in your home.
Alright, I'll get back to you. Welcome.
We are here for the results.
Wow, the lab results.
Yes.
Okay. Where is this man? She has malaria.
Malaria?
Yes.
What do you think should be prescribed for?
We prescribe Casimir tablet.
Casimir tablet?
Yes, Casimir tablet.
Casimir tablets get at letter and limit from 3 for inside. Casimir tablets now Maxim Laboratories Private Limited for India. But na Grace-based pharmacy and store. They distribute Casimir tablets for here. Casimir tablets get NAFDAC approval for take fight malaria, comot your family.
Casimir tablets, na correct anti-malaria.
Casimir tablets, it dey stop every malaria.
Mommy, mosquito is biting me.
But I asked you to use top rank insecticide. Top rank insecticide kills mosquitoes, cockroach, flies, and every other crawling and flying insects faster anywhere around you. That approves top for easy effectiveness. Use top rank insecticide and enjoy a peace rest. Market with you in 600 milliliters. milliliter can and 300 milliliter can. Top Rank insecticide is marketed nationwide by C Success Multi Services Limited. Telephone 0813 111 2348 or 090-960-22577. Top Rank insecticide. What's worth doing is worth doing well.
It's good to have you back. International Day of Education is celebrated globally every 24th January. The celebration is aimed at improving in the role of education for peace and development. The theme for this year is Learning for People, Planets, Prosperity and Peace. MCL News went to ascertain the level of compliance and feel the pulse of the people on the day. Estan Dupe has the details.
On December 3, 2018, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a consensus, a resolution proclaiming 24th January as International Day of Education, in celebration of the role of education for peace and development. The adoption of the resolution, International Day of Education, co-authored by Nigeria and 58 other member states, demonstrated the unwavering political will to support transformative actions for inclusive, equitable and quality education for all. Without inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong opportunities for all, countries will not succeed in achieving gender equality and breaking the cycle of poverty that is leaving millions of children, youths, and adults behind. Some respondents who spoke to MCL News spoke on the day.
Education is light, and because of the nature of light, it illuminates, and light also brings freedom. Education has brought about peace, it has brought about understanding, it has brought about development. In fact, without education, the things that we enjoy today, I'm afraid if we can join them now.
In Nigeria, we are really improving, they will say, or we are developing, but then we still have a long way to go in terms of our education. Most part of the problem we have in our education system is we are yet to equip ourselves with the necessary infrastructure.
Today, 258 million children and youths still do not attend school. 617 million children and adolescents cannot read and do basic maths. Less than 40% of girls in sub-Saharan Africa complete lower secondary school, and some 4 million children and youth refugees are out of school. Lending the voice on the day, some respondents stated the challenges faced in the educational sector as they attributed to lack of manpower and lack of funds.
Some parents are not able to meet up. Then even the students, a lot of them are not serious. The reading culture is no longer there these days.
I think at the level of practical, Nigeria really need to put the equipments on ground. Then secondly too, we also need to improve on our human capacity development.
The provision of the UN about funding of education. So come to think of it, when the Constitution says and the UN says a minimum of 36% of the annual budget of the state, and somebody is giving about 10%. So where do you think we can go from there?
With a view to enhance international cooperation and supporting the efforts towards the realization of sustainable development goal, the resolution called on all stakeholders, including member states, organizations of the UN system, and civil society, non-governmental organizations, academic institutions, the private sector, individuals, and other relevant stakeholders to observe the day and bring peace to the society.
So my advice is, let us hope they begin to imbibe the culture of picking the technocrats, the people that matter in the system. And they also have to listen carefully, because everything is all about power.
Like in most civilized countries, free education to all, maybe at the level of primary education, quasi-tertiary institutions. Because the rate of poverty in Nigeria has reduced most parents not to send their children to school.
This year's celebration positions education and the learning as it enables humanity's greatest renewal resources and reaffirm the role of education as a fundamental right and public good. The theme for this year is Learning for People, Planet, Prosperity and Peace. Esther Ndugwe, MCL News.
The need for individuals and communities to access adequate health care for a better living cannot be overemphasized. But to what extent are they aware of the availability of the different affordable health insurance packages in the state and the steps to achieve them? This report attempts to provide answers as MCL News speaks with experts in the field. Emmanuel Wazwe tells us more.
The provision of easy and affordable health care to the populace is a constant issue on the lips of government. This is the reason for the existence of agencies like the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, and the Abia State Health Insurance Scheme. They are responsible for the provision of social health insurance programs for Nigerians and, of course, of different caliber. But how many Abians are aware of these programs in spite of their benefits?
I've heard about it, but I don't know what it's all about. Yes, I've not come in contact with or that, I don't know. Some time ago, my wife had a problem in FMC. So, when we got there, before we could know it, so many other people who were beneficiaries of that health insurance scheme have been removed.
These responses are a clear indication that not everyone is in the know. Thus, these experts, while speaking to MCL News, explain the benefits and steps to achieving many of the categories.
They say that every Nigerian, no matter your status, has easy and affordable access to health care. They run out what we call the formal sector program and the informal sector program. The formal sector program covers public servants, the federal, the state, the local government, and even the organized labor sector. Companies that are maybe employing more than 10 people, they can come in. We also have a program under the armed forces, police, they have covered under the formal sector program. And the informal sector program is for those not who are on their own. For instance, the communities. There's a program for the community which we call community-based health insurance. There's also a program for the vulnerable group. And those Nigerians who are perhaps one form or the other are not covered by the program so far. We call that the contributor social health insurance program. The idea behind this is to make sure that we reduce as it affects the services without the children, the less privileged, and
communities are not exempt from the scheme, and is how they can be part of it.
First and foremost, the community has to indicate interest to join. And that can either be penetrated, including either the opinion leaders or their traditional rulers. So when they are interested, they invite us. The traditional will not call out the community for us to address them. When we address them, we tell them what they are supposed to gain or the purpose of these things. They don't have to decide how much payment they will pay. So we give them this option because one, the 300 naira entitled to the person will maybe job administration. But 500, it covers both the primary service and the secondary service so that you can be referred for secondary services. You enroll free of charge, you don't pay a dime. Then when we give you services, of course you have your unique ID. We forward your bill to health insurance to pay to the primary health care facility. So you don't pay anything.
That is the song for the community. Everybody, basically children, women, the elderly, less privileged, and for everyone can now, for malaria, free of charge, for screening, for the, hepatitis, HIV/AIDS, and all that, free. But then other serious issues, appendicitis and all that, we are not involved.
The need for individuals and communities to access adequate health care for a better living condition remains paramount. Therefore, the presence of the scheme in the state at both national and state levels affords Abians the advantage of easy access to affordable health care. Emmanuel Wazwe, MCL News.
And on the foreign scene, a second case of the deadly new strain of coronavirus sweeping China has been confirmed in the U.S. Health officials said on Friday. A person who returned to the U.S. state of Illinois for a run in central China where the outbreak originated is the second to be diagnosed with a new strain in the U.S., according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. The patient returned for a run on January 13th and sought medical assistance after experiencing symptoms several days later, the CDC said in a statement. The person is in a stable condition in hospital, it added. Officials are working to identify people the patient had contact with since arriving in Illinois. 5 U.S. airports are conducting public health entry screening. Travelers from Wuhan must now enter the U.S. through one of those airports. The CDC recommends that travelers avoid all non-Wuhan. The health say that more cases are likely to be reported in the U.S. in the coming days and weeks, but added that the risk to the public is believed to be low. The new coronavirus belongs to the same family of viruses that caused severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, a disease that infected 8,000 people and killed 800 globally in a 2002 to 2003 pandemic that also started in China. On sports, Poland on Thursday put an end to Team Nigeria's dream of competing in the table tennis team event at the ITTF World Team Olympic Qualifying Tournament, holding in Gondoma, Portugal. On Wednesday, the Polish ladies also defeated Team Nigeria 3-0, but in the men's battle, the game lasted for 4 hours, with the European side advancing to the last 16, where the eventual qualifiers will be decided. It was a big win for Poland over Nigeria, and their hero was Jakub Dijas, who after beating Aruna Kadri also defeated 7-time Olympian Shegun Toriola 3-1 to give Poland a 3-2 win. The Polish team raced to a 2-0 lead to the surprise of the Nigerian fans who were mobilized by the team. Samuel Kuzinski and Marek Badowski beat veteran Shegun Toriola, who partnered the Lajide Motaro 3-1, and the Polish side doubled their lead as Dijas upset Kadri 3-1. But Team Nigeria was fired back as Motaro and Kadri defeated Poland's Marek Badowski and Samuel Kuzinski to bring the overall score to 2-2. Toriola lost the final match to Dijas despite his heroics to end Nigeria's dream in the competition. And to end the news, we look at some major stories. The President, Muhammad Buhari, has assented to the instrument of ratification of the agreements on the transfer of sentenced persons between Nigeria and the government of the Macau Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. The Nigerian Army on Friday completed pre-deployment training for 185 troops for peacekeeping mission in Guinea-Bissau. We also brought to you that a civil society group, Coalition for Defense of Nigerian Democracy and Constitution, CDNDC, has suggested to United States and United Kingdoms to extend its visa restriction to judicial officers, particularly those who use their offices to allegedly undermine democracy. And on sports, Poland on Thursday put an end to Team Nigeria's dream of competing in the table tennis team event at the ITTF World Team Olympic Qualifying Tournament holding in Gondoma, Portugal. That was the news. Thanks for watching. Please do join us again by 8 a.m. for Good Morning Abia. I am Ezine Wafo. Once again, good morning.